Hello fellow readers, welcome to my channel. I'm Kayla from Live, Laugh, Love Reading. I'm really excited to get on here and share my thoughts and reviews with you all. Lately, well really for the past 2 months, I've been in a little bit of a reading slump. I've picked up books here and there, haven't finished a lot of them, but I said we're gonna change that today. And I'm also gonna share a couple of the books that I've picked up, because even if I wasn't reading as much, I was still buying books. So that sounds a lot like me. The first book on my list is James by Percival Everett. I've heard so much about this. If you're a reader at the bookstore at Barnes & Noble, you've heard of this. It won the National Book Award, and I think it also won the Pulitzer Prize for Literature. But I was really interested in it because Percival Everett also wrote Erasure, which was the novel that the film American Fiction was based off on. And James is specifically about the events of Huckleberry Finn, told from James's perspective. That novel was required reading in so many high schools, like for mine. And I do remember having mixed feelings about it and wanting to know more about the character Jim specifically. So I think this is going to be a really great read. I might save it for fall because I have a lot of arcs that I need to get through and a couple of books that are more summer and romance oriented. So I'll come back to this. Another fun fact that I found out is that Percival Everett is married to the author of colored television, Danzy Senna. So when you look at the dedication at the front of the novel, it says "For Danzy," which I think is so cute to dedicate a novel to your spouse. Another book I'm excited to read is Summer in the City by Alex Astor. If you look at this cover, it's really pretty. Pink, my favorite color. Look at the sprayed edges. It's like a city skyline and with like hearts. And then of course you have like this pretty map of New York. I gotta read this before the end of summer because it's summer. Gotta read a summer themed book. And the next book that I'm excited to read, and the concept actually sounds really interesting, is All That She Carried. I am currently in the process of looking into my own family tree and genealogy, and so books like this I really enjoy as a history book. As someone who's delving into her history, it's so important as African Americans that we, try to research where we come from, because a lot of these stories were lost, went unrecorded, or some of them were passed down just through oral histories. And so I think it's just something so powerful to know where you came from and to keep those memories of our ancestors alive. So I'm looking forward to this one. Now, before I get to what I'm really excited to show you, I have a whole list of arcs that I need to read, but this month I think I'm going to focus on 2 because they are really similar in genre, format, and then authors. Coming up is Quarter Love Crisis. Is from a British author. She's a debut author. I only read like the first 2 chapters of that, so it feels a little bit like Bridget Jones to me, a female character who's still sort of figuring her life out, her romantic relationships and also her own friendships and career out. So I'm always in the mood for a story like that. The other one that I'm really excited to read, though, is Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalula. I have talked about Honey and Spice, her first book, in this story before. Apparently, this new book is set, like probably 2, 3, I'm not sure exactly how many years after, but years after the fact, where the 2 main characters in Honey and Spice have broken up but are brought back together again because one of their close college friends are getting married. So ultimately, they have to interact again. These 2, I'm really excited to just see the difference. They're both by British authors, so that's an element that I'm not used to, seeing in a lot of books because I'm an American. I probably should be doing this part in a British accent because that's how I'll be reading them in my head. But I'm gonna first start with Sweet Heat because that is actually coming out soon by the end of the month. And I also was sent an audiobook from the publisher. So why am I still talking in a British accent? Now, this last package, I am so excited to share with you all. It's always exciting to get any book mail from publishers or an author. And this one, I was so excited when I saw that it was in the mail today. And it is The Best Man, Unfinished Business. Of course, this is, coming from Malcolm D. Lee and Jane Allen. Malcolm D. Lee is the director and creator of the original Best Man movie, of course starring Taye Diggs, Morris Chestnut, Sanaa Lathan, Regina Hall, of course, Nia Long. Need I go on about that amazing cast? Just the fact that this is my first arc that I've ever gotten, so thank you to Penguin Random House, specifically the imprint Storehouse Voices, for sending this to me. This is so exciting because this is a continuation of the Best Man story, if you will. Remember, it was the first film and the second film in 2013, which was like a Christmas movie. And then they also had this mini-series on Peacock. The packaging is so cool. And they sent some bookmarks and then also a shh, please do not disturb, we are reading. I need this a lot because I think sometimes people don't realize that when you're reading, you can put this up. Okay, from the start, I already know this is gonna be really good. And apparently it follows Harper, Jordan, and Robin as they try to establish lives away from the hurts of the past and come to realize that some love is impossible to break. What is also really interesting is that in this letter, he says that there will probably be 2 more books. So this is another series. I hope they're planning to do another movie or television series because, of course, like I mentioned before, that cast is so iconic and it's always so fun to see them. They're funny, but then they can also do dramatic, so you get this whole range of emotions in just one body of work. So this is going to be so exciting. I am definitely going to let you guys know how I feel about this book. So that's all for my book haul or mini book haul for the last couple of months. So as I mentioned before, I'm trying to beat this reading slump, so I'm going to hop back into Sweet Heat and let you guys know how that book is going. Correction about Sweet Heat. I'm reading the first couple of chapters and I realized that this has to probably have been taking like 7 or 8 years after the original book. So like her entire plans right now are up in the air because she meets Malachi again at her best friend Amina's engagement party. So of course our favorite theme, forced proximity, is at play here. I'm now on chapter 5 and I am invested in this story now. I did reread Honey and Spice before this just to get a refresher on who the characters were and their background, but honestly I didn't have to. Like, this stands on its own. It just sets the story up as though it's the first time you've ever met these characters. So I'm curious to know like why they broke up and like where he is now, because at this point is like they're still cool and they're still friendly. It doesn't seem like it ended badly for either of them. So that's going to be interesting to read and see. One thing I have to say about this author's writing style is that I just really hope somebody like makes it into a film or a TV series, because it is just so, it's comedic, it's written in a way that you know that younger people are going to relate to it. Like it's snappy, it's conversational, that sort of thing. I think we need more of that, and I think that this story would just do so well, kind of like Forever, where you have the first season be how they met, maybe how they broke up, and then the second season it's like the second chance. And this right here, it's so funny, and this is so cute. Like, this is so cute. That's all I gotta say. Reading this on my Kindle is fine, but I think I'm going to listen to it now while I do a puzzle that is also very book themed. So I'll sort of kill two birds with one stone. All right. A new reading update. It looks like I've got to about 34% of Sweet Heat, which means I'll probably jump into Summer in the City. I think, you know, it'll probably be good since they're both the same genre, but who knows? I'm sort of a mood reader, so I might just stick with Sweet Heat. But today I do have a couple of errands I need to run, and then I'll circle back, get something to eat, and then I'll start reading again. I just read the first chapter of The Summer in the City, and I actually really liked it. Like, I think the premise from what I read on the front jacket is actually really interesting. The main character is a writer herself, and her best friend get into this very funny predicament in the first chapter. I'm not going to spoil it because I think you actually have to read it. I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to like the rest of the book. I really love romance and comedies, so the writing style of this, the way the characters speak and the way that actions are described, I really enjoy. So now I have two really good reads under my belt, and I think I'm going to get through them very quickly because I also have an audiobook for this. All in all, I read 2 books, and I also made progress on that puzzle again. I only have 2 sections to finish, so that's great. But now I'm just, you know, tracking my progress in my reading journal. Let me know if you want to see a video on this. I've been journaling for 5 years now, so I have like 4 or 5 notebooks now full of reviews, film reviews, and television. But overall, I think it was a very productive day today, and I have so much more reading to do tomorrow. I got a lot of editing done today. But I actually think that my reading slump is over. I'm really into these new books that I picked up, and I think part of the motivation was knowing that I'm talking to the camera. And thank you for joining me on this journey of getting out of the reading slump, because they're terrible. because I feel like I should be reading, I should be finishing something. But honestly, I think this is also probably an exercise in just letting go of, you know, trying to finish a book, because if it's just not pulling you in for whatever reason, then just stop reading. And I'm a person who just feels like if I start a book, then I need to finish that book before I move on, because I've invested so much time and energy and I want to know how it ends. But slowly but surely I'm letting that go. But I think these two that I picked up are gonna be really interesting, and who knows, maybe tomorrow as a mood reader, I'm gonna wanna read something else. That's the end of this here video. Make sure you subscribe and give it a thumbs up, and comment down below how you get out of your reading slumps, or if there's any books that you are looking forward to reading or currently reading. I'd love to hear it all. Again, thank you so much. This is Kayla from Live Laugh Reading. Bye.